comment right here. I really don't think that he's speaking for all men, because I know that there will be somebody that steps up one day to be some sort of father figure for my child. And it's also very, like, I'm very surprised that you felt comfortable actually typing this out and commenting on someone's video. Like, it's just the wildest thing. You don't know my circumstances with my child, or his father.
So there was this comment that no one wants to raise another man's child and be the cleanup guy, and a lady made a video claiming to speak for all men. But guess what? Not everyone's buying it. It caused an uprising with thousands of comments and men giving their hot takes.
Ooh, hot same. I am not raising somebody else's kids, so I'm with the men here on this conversation.
The women weren't even left behind. And here's where it gets really interesting. They're calling out the idea that if you're smart and logical, you won't ever fall for someone with a kid. In some of the arguments, they say, "You should have picked a better baby daddy. It's not my job to raise someone else's child." Now, hold up a sec. Sure, accountability is key when it comes to choosing partners, but does that mean we should be throwing stones at single moms? From the comments, there are so many reasons why men don't want to raise someone else's child. First off, let's talk about the involvement of the ex-partner. Now, this can be a tricky one. Some single parents have a good relationship with their ex, while others, not so much. And for someone thinking about dating a single mom, the idea of dealing with the ex-partner drama might be a turnoff. I mean, who wants to walk into a potential minefield of awkward encounters and tense interactions? Then there's the issue of time. Let's face it, being a single mom means juggling a ton of responsibilities. From taking care of the kids to managing work and personal life, there's not always a lot of free time to go around. And for someone who's looking for a partner they can spend a lot of time with, this might not be the ideal situation.
I am a single guy with no kids. I was married one time before. I had a stepson. We were sitting at the dinner table, and he looked up at me at the dinner table and said, "Hey, Randall, what can I call you?" I was like, "You can call me anything that you want to." Well, he wanted to call me Dad, which I'm perfectly okay with. We had a healthy relationship. Well, the ex-wife decided to step in and say, "You will never call him Dad. He will never be your dad. He is Randall to you, and you will refer to him as Randall."
And then there's this idea that women and logic don't mix, especially when it comes to dealing with children. It's like some guys see their own kids as a blessing, but when it comes to someone else's children, they view them as a burden. It's a harsh reality, but it's one that many people are facing. There's this guy who stepped up to be a father figure, only to be told by his ex-wife that he was just a pawn in her game. That he'll never be the father to her kid, and guess what? He's not the only one feeling the burn. There are countless men out there who have stepped up to the plate, only to be left in the dust when things went south.
I have been a guy that's raised other kids that wasn't mine, belonged to other men. I raised two with my wife for about 12 years. One of them was 2 when I got with her, and she was pregnant with the other one. And I don't get to see my daughter now.
Yeah.
That shit hurts. I had to drag her ass to court to get to see my son.
Alright, let's dig into a couple more reasons why dating a single mom might not be everyone's cup of tea. Now, one big thing to consider is blending families. When you're dating a single mom, it's not just about you and her, it's about her kids too. And that's a whole new ball game. Think about it. You're not just stepping into her life, you're stepping into her kids' lives too. And that's a big responsibility. You're not just dating her, you're becoming a part of their world. And going through that kind of dynamic isn't always easy. I mean, it's a whole new set of relationships to figure out, and not everyone feels ready to take that plunge. Now, one big thing to consider is spontaneity. You know those people who just love to live life without too many rules or plans? They're all about going with the flow and seeing where the day takes them. But dating a single mom might throw a wrench in those plans. Here's the deal. Scheduling dates with a single mom often requires a bit more planning ahead. You can't just decide to extend a date or change plans at the last minute. They've got their own set of time constraints to work around, so spontaneous hangouts might not always be in the cards. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, structure can be great too. It's just a matter of finding the right balance that works for both of you. So, if you're someone who loves to fly by the seat of your pants, dating a single mom might require a little more adjustment than you're used to.
A lot of men feel this way because a lot of women do not allow stepdaddies to discipline their badass kids.
We've also got someone dropping some truth bombs, saying that a lot of men feel frustrated because they're not allowed to discipline their partner's kids. And you know what? They might have a point. Imagine being in a situation where you're dealing with a kid throwing a tantrum, and you can't do anything about it. It's enough to make anyone think twice about getting involved. Another issue is bonding with the kids. This one's a big deal for many. See, for some, the idea of getting attached to a child, only to have that connection disappear if things don't work out with the mom, can be a real concern. And let's be real, that's tough for everyone involved, especially the kids who've already been through their fair share of changes. So, if you're someone who tends to form strong bonds with children, getting into a relationship with a single mom might feel like a big risk unless you're sure it's going to go the distance. I mean, nobody wants to see a child get hurt, right? And when you're dating a single mom, there's always that possibility lurking in the background. Now let's talk about wanting a less serious relationship. See, some single moms, though definitely not all, might be looking for something more committed or exclusive. They might not have time to waste on a casual fling, or they might be hoping to find someone who can step up as a parent figure for their kids. And hey, that's totally valid. But if you're not on the same page and you're just looking for something casual, well, it might not be the best fit. It's all about being honest about what you want and finding someone who's looking for the same thing.
You see a child as a mess that a man makes, so you view yourself as a mess that your father made.
Now, here's an interesting twist. Some single parents themselves might hesitate to date other single parents. Sounds counterintuitive, right? But stick with me here. First off, there's the concern about parenting styles not quite lining up. You know, every parent has their own way of doing things, and when you bring two single parents together, well, that could lead to some clashes. Plus, there's the worry about how the kids will get along. I mean, blending families isn't always smooth sailing, and some people might be hesitant to jump into that kind of situation. Now, let's tackle another important aspect. Time. This is a big one. Between their own obligations and their partners, some people might worry that they won't be able to spend enough quality time with a single. Building a relationship takes time and effort. It's not something you can rush or squeeze into a few spare minutes here and there. And when you're dating a single mom, well, her plate is already pretty full. Between taking care of the kids, managing work, and handling all the other responsibilities life throws her way, there might not be a ton of extra time left over for a romantic rendezvous. And let's be real, that can be a real concern. I mean, who wants to feel like they're constantly competing for someone's attention? Relationships thrive on quality time spent together, and if you're stretched thin already, it's natural to worry that there just won't be enough of it to go around. So, if you're someone who values quality time and wants to feel like a priority in your partner's life, dating a single mom might require a little extra patience and flexibility. But hey, if you're willing to put in the effort, the rewards can be immeasurable. After all, love knows no bounds, and when you find someone worth the wait, it's all worth it in the end. There's also the issue of not feeling ready to help raise children. Look, some people just aren't in a place in life where they're ready to take on that kind of responsibility. Maybe they want to have kids of their own first, or maybe there are other things they want to focus on before diving into family life. And if a single parent is looking for someone to join their family, it makes sense that a potential partner might feel like they're not quite ready for that level of commitment.
Number 3, avoid women who speak positively about their hoe phase. If she's proud of all those dudes that helped her find herself, the girl she found is not someone you want to be dating.
Let's talk about the dreaded hoe phase. If a woman is proud of her past exploits and sees nothing wrong with it, it might be a sign that she's not ready to settle down. After all, if she's not taking her own actions seriously, how can you expect her to take your relationship seriously? So, what's the takeaway from all of this? It's important to take responsibility for our choices, including who we have kids with. If we're honest, sometimes we might look back and realize, yeah, maybe I could have chosen better. And that's okay. But here's the thing. Accountability doesn't mean we deserve to be condemned or treated like we're less than worthy of respect.
As a single mom at 27, let's say I was your man, what would I need to pay for?
I don't think you would need to pay for anything. I wouldn't see it that way. I think we can both contribute to building a life together.
Let's say I wanted to go to McDonald's and you had your kid with you. Would I be expected to pay for the two of you or just you?
Yeah.
Oh no, just me. That's my baby. That's my responsibility.
Now, let's talk about this whole idea of, it's not my job to raise someone else's child. Sure, technically speaking, biologically speaking, it might not be your kid. But does that mean you can just wash your hands of any responsibility or empathy? Absolutely not. When you enter into a relationship with someone who has children, you're not just entering into a relationship with that person. You're also entering into a relationship with their child. And that comes with responsibilities, yes, but also with opportunities for growth, love, and connection. Well, it's simple. When it comes to dating and relationships, it's important to be discerning. Look for someone who shares your values and is ready to build a future together. And above all, don't settle for anything less than you deserve. Because at the end of the day, you deserve someone who respects you and is willing to put in the work to make the relationship thrive. At the end of the day, every relationship is unique, and there's no one-size-fits-all answer to these questions. But if you approach them with empathy, understanding, and a willingness to communicate, you'll be in a much better position to navigate whatever challenges come your way. So, don't be afraid to talk about the tough stuff, and remember to support each other every step of the way.